when you take an oath in the courtroom, what do you
Put your
promise to
hand-
tell?
The whole truth.
Yeah, the
And
truth.
nothing but the truth.
Yeah, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Full on truth. And in one sense, the Devas are saying we have these positions where we are kind of given the highest respect. You can imagine what it's like to be Indra. There's whole courts singing to you and dancers dancing for you and everybody praising you for your power, for your ability to give protection, for your ability to provide, and you're accepting this honor as if it's true. Sometimes you speak about this, Raghunath, about like, and maybe not, maybe we don't have any memory or experience of what it's like to be a deva in Indra's position, but we all have our position of power, and you speak a lot about like being a parent, which when you're a parent, the feeling that I am the protector, I am the provider, right? I am the origin, right? You came from it. The parent is feeling to their children like, I created you and I protect you and I provide for you. And on one level, that's the truth, but it's not the whole truth. And it's not nothing but there's truth. There's a type of truth in it, but that truth is a truth that comes and goes.
Yeah, it's a relative truth.
It's relative to time and circumstance. They're saying that now you're appearing. You're the full-on truth.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily spiritual podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator of the Bhakti Center in New York City, Kaustubha Das. It is June 11, 2025. It's episode 1624. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's Wednesday. It's Walk On Wednesday. Walk On Wednesday is when we invite someone special doing magical things from our community, and we pick their brain for about 10 minutes to hear what they're up to. And then we dive into the Bhagavatam. But before we introduce our special guest, Miss Mara, you got the get on the mic, my man.
We have a Bhakti Recovery Group meeting in Philadelphia at Bhakti Garden this evening, 7 to 8 p.m. In person and also on Zoom. And for more Bhakti Recovery Group meetings, you can go to bhaktirecoverygroup.com and click on the online meeting list.
Online meeting list. All righty. All right. That's pretty good info. Gearing up for Sunday's Rath Yatra. We're going to Saturday's Rath Yatra in New York City. Excited for that. All the Alachua boys are going down. They're going to be part of our Kirtan extravaganza for part of the day. And Kaustubha is going to be manning the booth, selling shirts and beanies.
Am I?
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
No. Well, you're going to be there doing. You're not going to be there at the booth?
I don't know.
Yeah, you want to meet Kaustubha, you go to the booth. You meet him.
It sounds like more you want me to man the selling of merch.
What do you want to do? You can do whatever you want. How about that? I'm going to man the booth. I'm going to man the booth.
Great.
You're going to be at our Wisdom Sages booth, right?
Well, it's kind of a big kirtan there, so I plan to spend a lot of time there for sure.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We're going to be at the booth. You want to meet us? We're going to be there.
Okay. You're
going to be in a big chair, dressed like Santa Claus, people are going to hand you their children. You're going to sit them on your lap, and you're going to say, what do you want from Krishna? It's going to be great. Mara's going to be there. Our whole team's going to be there. A lot of people are going to get a great chance to meet each other. Yeah, we're looking forward to that. We're going to have our own trained squirrel there. Looking forward to it. Kaustubha, what's going on with you? Anything?
There's a lot of stuff going on. New York's busy every day now, and which brings us to our guest, actually, because there's a big event today.
There's a big event today. Let's bring on our special guest. It's an old friend of yours and mine. His name is Yadunnath. Yadunnath, welcome to the show.
Hare Krishna.
How you doing, Yadunnath?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on. I apologize for my cruddy sound quality.
It's okay.
Not so bad.
That's what the good Lord gave me.
It's not cruddy. Don't tell people bad qualities, oftentimes they won't even notice. We just talk about that behind the scenes. You have great sound quality. And you're a beautiful looking man.
I
How are
offer you
Welcome.
today my wonderful sound quality.
There you go. Just be confident.
Thanks for being a glass half full kind of guy, Raghunath. Much appreciated.
So 26 2nd Avenue is a holy spot for us because it's where Prabhupada came and started the first temple in New York City. When me and Kaustubha were young men, it was just a after Prabhupada left that temple and the Krishna Bhakti movement expanded, of course, the devotees stopped leasing that building and someone else leased it. When I was a teenager, it went back to being a curios shop, like a shop where you can buy weird things from antiques.
Novelties, yeah.
Yeah, it was called Rescued Estates. And I thought that was a very, very, almost like, what would be the word, Kaustubha? It was a rescued estate. So that was the name of the antique shop that was there. And anyway, the devotees got it back because they realized it was a holy place. And so they started leasing it. They sort of like cleaned it out and sort of made it look clean and nice. But there has been a desire to make it more like a museum of what it was, isn't it? Back in the 60s. You want to share what's going on over there?
Yeah, man. We actually, it was cleaned out, as you say, and now we're cleaning it out again and starting a new project. His Holiness Raghunath Swami had this vision for what this place could be. He's like, this is not a regular temple that you go and you see the deities, or is there a restaurant here or whatever. Like you said, it's a tirtha, it's a holy place, and it should be honored as such. So we've turned it into a museum honoring Srila Prabhupada. It sort of takes you through the beginnings of the Hare Krishna movement, the Bhakti movement in the West, how Prabhupada came, how he established this is the first ISKCON temple, and how it blossomed from there. So a curtain now separates the front half from the back half. So the first half in the museum, there's artifacts. You can see all different things, really interesting newspaper clippings and stuff like that. Once you part the curtain and go onto the back half of the room, you enter, dig this, 1966.
Really?
You enter into
this. Do you
this
become
movie.
Younger? I was born in 1966.
I was born in 1966.
No. You guys are still going to be gray and
my
wrinkly. That's
Okay.
not on the table.
Okay.
But the mood is there, and the contention is people who come to 2nd Avenue, as opposed to other temples, they want an experience of Prabhupada. So we're trying to give them that experience. And Adi Dev and Vamana Dev Prabhus are two Prabhupada disciples. They've researched the hell out of finding out what was there. They've interviewed people who were there at the time. Vamana Dev actually lived there for a year. And they've gone through all the films and pictures and writings. And we've created this space where if you see the pictures, and you can, it's like, oh my God, it's identical,
Right.
From floor to ceiling and the walls in between.
It's kind of like when we, sometime back, I guess it was in the 90s, we got a lease on that property again, but we turned it into a center as if it were a center anywhere else, any other place, right? It was just kind of cleared out. And now but it's kind of like if you went to visit the Alamo and it was just like refurbished inside, you want to see like the bullet holes in the wall and you want to see what it was like at that time. Yeah. And so when you go into 26 2nd Avenue now, you can have an experience of what it felt like to be there when Prabhupada just opened it up. And it's kind of, I don't know what I don't know what how you would describe the decor is, kind of like 60 Indian hippie, just.
That's a good job of doing it. Yeah. It's retro.
Yeah. Some kind of retro spiritual 60s kind of thing. So there's carpets on the ground, and the paintings that were there, or if not, some of them had been reproduced, right?
Yes, reproduced as to what they had there, but madrasas on the walls. It was just short of full out psychedelia. But you
Okay.
really do, yeah, but you really do feel it. And it was really, like you say, it was all done in gradation, you know? They got rid of it in 1968 because we don't need it anymore. We need a bigger space,
Right.
not thinking historically. Then
Right.
in 1990, they were thinking historically. It's like, we got to get this place back. It came up on the market, they got it back, but then it was just, okay, we got it. We got it back. But now the new phase is we have to really honor it for what it is,
Okay.
for the special quality of what it is.
Yeah, I think that's I think Radhanath Swami's vision for that was important because it, in one sense, it's difficult to treat it as sacred as it is when it's just configured as any other room in the world.
Yes, and let me say something about that. You know, those of us who are there often, it's easy to take for granted,
Yeah.
right? But when pilgrims come from literally all over the world, I personally am humbled because I see the reverence in
Right.
their eyes. They become emotional. They start to cry just being in that space. Now
Sure.
it looks like the way it did when Prabhupada was there. How much more so
You're
will,
more aware.
Yeah,
yeah,
it creates the atmosphere. When I meet devotees from India or abroad, and I say I'm from New York, the first thing they say is, "Have you been to 26 Second Avenue? I've always
right.
wanted to go." It's like when we talk about, "Are you going to India? Are you going to Vrindavan? Are you going to Govardhan?" It's the
Right.
same type of feeling. They all want to go to this spot. Um, and this is great because, and by the way, I do want to give credit to the devotees that first got this place because that was a big thing. And at that time, we couldn't even afford to do it because I was in New York there at that time,
Yeah.
and they couldn't afford to do it. And then the devotees that went into it and renovated. Matter of fact, one of our listeners, Yasa, was one of the
Yeah,
ones who
Yasa.
first renovated it. And I want to discredit him because it was a huge thing to go through all that crapola that was there and clean it up and fix it up. And so this is not to take away from those devotees like Yasa who did so much work on that, but also this is just to take it to this next level so you can really feel that emotional feeling as if you were there in 1966, and it all assists the mood of
Yeah.
the pilgrim.
Our consciousness has been like, this is the parampara. Like Yaso is part of the parampara. And we feel like we're also honoring all of those who made it possible
Right.
to get up to this spot. And that's all those people who got it in 1990 and who were maintaining it through the 90s and the 2000s, et cetera.
So what's the event today?
Today is sort of the phase one opening.
Okay.
So this will be the first time that it's open to the public to see. So yeah, we're gonna have a Harinam from Bhakti Center to Second Avenue. There's a Murti of Prabhupada that we're going to bring in. It's not going to be an installed Murti or anything, but for the first time there'll be an image of a three-dimensional image of Prabhupada there. And then we're going to have the program. We'll hear from Prabhupada disciples, many of whom will be there.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
What a
and
day.
Prashadam. It's great. And then next year will be phase two, and that's going to be even more
You're
making
gonna
it
like
in line.
get some hippies to live in there, move in there.
Yeah, you know any? You got the beard, yeah, Raghunath. Just
I
grow
would
your
do it.
hair from now till then.
I would
You
grow
look a
my
little
hair
like
out
High
if I
Grieve
could. I
circa
just don't have the
66.
ability to.
Right,
Um,
right.
what time is it today? And like, is there room for people to squeeze in there? How will that work?
That's a question that only Krishna knows the answer to.
Okay.
But the Harinam is from 4 to 4:30 from Bhakti Center, Second Avenue. And
Harinam means people are going through the streets and singing.
yeah,
So
singing joyfully.
jump on that soul train if you want to.
Right. At 4:30, we'll receive Prabhupada, take him in, and the program will continue from there.
Okay. You see what I got right here? You know what this is?
I got one of those too, my friend. I got one too. I
Oh, is
got
that part of the
Vyasa.
floor?
Huh? That's
Is that
part of
part
the
of the
original
floor?
floor of 26 Second
Yeah,
Avenue.
I got
Yeah.
one of the, I got one.
Oh, give that to me.
Wear it
What,
around
do you
your
think
neck.
I'm going to be hypnotized or something?
Give that to me.
I'll give mine to you.
Oh, and
All
by
right.
the way, we're also going to be represented at Ratha Yatra, and usually we're right next to Wisdom of the Sages. So you guys stop and see us and say Hari Bol.
We don't even have to stop. We just have to turn.
You guys turn. All
Okay.
the rest of the
Everybody else
viewers,
stop.
stop, walk over,
Okay, great.
I was
give
in
us
the
your
park
blessing.
yesterday. I was checking out our spot. I was a little worried it wasn't the best spot. Now I'm like, oh no, this is a really good spot.
Oh, really? You already know the spot, Kaustubha?
Yeah, we had that. There's a map and showed where we're set up. It's a good
Okay.
spot. It's shady in the afternoon. It would be a great
That's
place to
the
Alrighty.
carve.
that's the B spot, the Bhakti spot.
All right.
You got to
That's
find the
great.
B spot.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, Yadunath, we're really happy you're part of this.
Thank you
It is a
for your
historic
service there.
it is a historic day. Are you going to go, Kaustubha? Do you have the time?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay, good. Good. That's great.
Thank you
You
both
represent.
for the opportunity to tell people about it.
No
Thank you,
problem.
my friend. Very, very good. Keep up the good work. Looking forward to seeing Rath Yatra. Let's sing, dance, embrace together. What do you
Let's
say?
do it.
All
Hare
right,
Krishna.
Prabhu. Thank
Very
you.
cool.
That's great.
Yeah, I remember years ago. I don't even remember. It could have been even 10 years ago that Radha Swami started speaking about this idea. Why don't we restore that to the way that it originally was? And things take time, but
Yeah. It starts
today,
with the vision. It starts with
yeah,
the dream.
yeah, today it's
All of a
happening.
sudden things fall into place. It's really, and I had the honor of living there for, I can't remember, like 5 months, 6 months,
Hmm.
1994, 1995. I lived there.
Yeah,
It was
wow.
great. Anyway, let's get on with the show.
Let's do it.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim yasam tato jayam dirayat. Before we start the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord, Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshu badreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhakti ravati naistiki, by regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and rendering service to the pure devotees. All that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes. The torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 2, Text 19. We're in it. We're in the 10th canto, everybody. Very, very exciting. By the way, I'd love a show of hands on the message board if you're going to Rath Yatra this week, who we're going to run into. So if you're listening to this live, let us know if you're going to be this weekend in New York City. Okay. Text 19, Kaustubha, you ready to dive into this?
I'm ready. This is
Okay.
this is birth of Krishna right here. It's happening.
This is it. Be present. Devaki then kept within herself the supreme personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, the foundation of the entire cosmos.
Mm.
But because she was under arrest in the house of Kamsa, she was like the flames of fire covered by the walls of a pot. Or like a person who has knowledge but cannot distribute it to the world for the benefit of human society. Right? Even though like the most fascinating thing was happening in the world,
Nobody
but
know
she's
better.
in a dungeon. She's in a dungeon.
And she's got, the foundation of the entire cosmos within her, right? So we get a lot of that in texts like Bhagavatam. This idea that in one sense, God, everything is within God, and God can be within anything, or is within everything, even within every atom. But in a very unique way, she has Krishna himself inside her right now. And she's lighting up.
Right. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead was within her womb.
Seemed to say yesterday that he was. Right?
I thought it was a wombless Wednesday yesterday. And now it was wombless Tuesday. Now it's womb Wednesday. All right. He's in a womb today. What is a womb? Did we decide what a womb was? It's a belly? Is it something more?
What? You don't know what a womb is?
It's a uterus? Is
No.
that a womb?
But I think they use.
See, Bunky doesn't know. You look at me
Well,
like
it is one of the definitions.
Oh, it
Actually,
is. Okay.
a place
I
that
just got
something is
aha
generated.
by-
Yeah, it's a
Funky.
place where the baby's body is generated.
Place where something is generated.
Okay. All right. Getting a little biological this morning. Good morning. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead was within her womb Wednesday, Devaki illuminated the entire atmosphere in the place where she was confined. Seeing her jubilant, pure, and smiling, comes a thought. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, who is now within her, will kill me. Devaki has never looked so brilliant and jubilant. Kamsa thought.
Yeah, well, this, we're hearing how Kamsa's totally absorbed in thought of
Krishna.
Vishnu. Yeah, because he's heard from Narada himself. Narada's not going to lie.
No, Narada's
Right.
setting him up for this.
What to speak of the voice in the sky,
Mm.
that Vishnu was going to kill him, and that he's already killed son after son, and now he sees that Devaki, she's like really, really effulgent looking, and it's obvious something's up. And so he's like, that's it. It could have been paranoia, but in this case, he was right. It's like,
Right.
But he's like,
Sometimes
he's
we
worried all
are
the
have a
time.
little anxiety and paranoia. This is actually reality.
Yeah, he got it right. And so he's like, Vishnu's inside her. She wouldn't be looking this way if he wasn't.
Kamsa thought, what is my duty now? The Supreme Lord, who knows his purpose, will not give up on his prowess. Not give up his prowess. Devaki is a woman. She is my sister. And moreover, she is now pregnant. If I kill her, it's going to look bad for my reputation, bad for my opulence, bad for my duration of life. It'll certainly all be vanquished.
So there's like 3 strikes. Killing a woman, that's bad. Killing your sister, still more bad. Oh, she's pregnant on top of it. This is
Gonna make
really,
me
really,
look
really bad.
It's going to be difficult to spin this one like it was a good
Yeah,
thing.
right. Yeah.
A person who is very cruel is regarded as dead even while living. For while he is living or after his death, everybody condemns him. And after death of a person in the bodily concept of life, he is undoubtedly transferred to the hell known as Andatma. Andatma. So he doesn't want to go to that place. He doesn't want to go to hell.
All right, so he's freaking out, right? His animosity has brought him to this place of full-on anxiety, big time.
Interesting. The fear of going to one of the many hells. Isn't that interesting? We just say, go to hell. I don't want to get
There's a
born
variety.
on it. I don't want to go to hell, but there's a variety of hells.
They're all bad.
They're all miserable. Go to that hell. Sukadeva Goswami said, deliberating in this way, Kamsa, although determined to continue his enmity towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead, refrained from the vicious killing of his sister. He decided to wait until the Lord was born and then to do what was needed.
Okay, so that means for the duration of time that this is going to take, he's just going to live in that anxiety.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna, right? And when he knows something's gonna happen, and so it's just like worry upon worry upon worry. But the blessing of this whole thing is, what is he worried about? Krishna, 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 Krishna. Thoughts and meditation deep on Krishna.
That's where its next verse goes.
While sitting on his throne, or sitting in his room, while lying on his bed, or indeed while situated anywhere, while eating, sleeping, walking, Kamsa saw only his enemy, the Supreme Lord, Rishikesh. So he's eating and he's thinking, oh, Krishna, right? He's sleeping, oh, Krishna, right? He's walking down the road, Krishna.
I mean, I think it's more Vishnu at this point, right? Because he doesn't even...
In other words, by thinking of his all-pervading enemy, Kamsa became unfavorably Krishna conscious.
Right, he's pervading his consciousness.
We want to become Krishna conscious, but not unfavorably Krishna conscious.
Right.
Text 25, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, accompanied by great sages like Narada, Devala, Vyas, and by other demigods like Indra, Chandra, Varuna, invisibly approached the room of Devaki, right? Everybody wants to offer prayers, right? Where they all joined in an offering their respectful obeisances and prayers to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can bestow blessings upon everyone.
Okay, so we've read in Bhagavatam already how the Lord appeared. There are different times where the demons are kind of taking control, the devas are kind of weakened, and they're waiting for the appearance of Vishnu. They're suffering. Sometimes they're in hiding. We've heard that the Yadu dynasty, which many devas took birth in, that many of them are in hiding now because the demons have taken birth in all these royal families. And then Vishnu appears. So we saw, for instance, we saw it when Krishna appeared as Vamanadev, right? That was a time where he appeared as, in the form of a dwarf because all the devas were in hiding. Bali Maharaj had taken over everything. There was a time when Hiranyakashipu was in control of everything, and the devas were worried. Oh no, he's going to have a son, and that son is going to be horrible too. And then they were told, no, this son is going to be Prahlad, and he's going to bring Vishnu. By his appearance, Vishnu will come. And so they're always waiting for Vishnu to come and save the day. They don't really know about Krishna, They know Vishnu, and they know he's going to come. They don't know exactly what form he's going to come in. They don't know what he's going to look like when he appears, but they know that he's there. They know that he's in the womb of Devaki right now. And so although she's locked away in this dungeon and nobody can see her, they know. And so now they've appeared invisibly, and now they're going to offer their prayers. This is a real highlight of the Bhagavatam because we've been waiting 10 cantos for, we were told about Krishna right out of the gate, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, the son of Vasudev. Okay, well now Vasudev's in his prison with his wife, and he's about to, Vishnu will appear. We could say Vishnu, but ultimately it's Krishna appearing in his original form now, and he's coming. So all the devas are there, and they're ready to offer their prayers.
So here's the first prayer to the demigods. The demigods prayed, "O Lord, you never deviate from your vow, which is always perfect, because whatever you decide is perfectly correct and cannot be stopped by anyone. Being present in the three phases of cosmic manifestation, creation, maintenance, and annihilation, you are the supreme truth. Indeed, unless one is completely truthful, one cannot achieve your favor, which therefore cannot be achieved by hypocrites. You are the active principle, the real truth in all the ingredients of creation, and therefore you are known as Antaryami, the inner force. You are equal to everyone. Your instructions apply for everyone for all time. You are the beginning of all truth. Therefore, offering our obeisances, we surrender unto you. Kindly give us protection."
Okay. This is an incredible verse. And you don't pick up on it in the translation the way that it's there in the Sanskrit. But if we look at the Sanskrit, we see that the word truth is just being repeated again and again and again. Satya Vratam, Satya Param, Tri Satyam, Satyasya Yonim, Nihitam Cha Satye, Satyasya Satyam, Riti Satya Netram, Satyatmakam Tvam Sharanam Prapanaha. So the first thing, this is the first moment when Krishna himself, right? We really need to understand this moment here in Bhagavatam, like from a cinematic point of view or something like that, right? There's foreshadowing of this moment, building from the beginning of the Bhagavatam, that Krishna would appear when the sages of Naimisharanya were asking their questions, to Sutta Goswami at the very beginning. They asked, what brings the highest good for all mankind? What leads to the complete satisfaction of the self? But they also asked about the pastimes of Krishna. They also asked about that. And early on, we hear that, that incredibly important verse, Ete Changsa Kala Pungsa Krishnas tu Bhagavan Svayam, that all the different avatars, they all come from the original, the original source, which is Krishna. And now Krishna is going to take birth. And the devas are there, and they're offering their prayers. And these are going to be incredibly verses that are just packed with insights, about life. And the very first thing they start to say is, in a sense, you're the true one. And I, when someone takes, in the United States at least, when you're when you take an oath in the courtroom, what do you
Put your
promise to
hand-
tell?
The whole truth.
Yeah, the
And
truth.
nothing but the truth.
Yeah, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Full on truth. And in one sense, the Devas are saying we have these positions where we are kind of given the highest respect. You can imagine what it's like to be Indra. This whole courts singing to you and dancers dancing for you and everybody praising you for your power, for your ability to give protection, for your ability to provide, and you're accepting this honor as if it's true. Sometimes you speak about this, Raghunath, about like, and maybe not, maybe we don't have any memory or experience of what it's like to be a deva in Indra's position, but we all have our position of power, and you speak a lot about like being a parent, which when you're a parent, the feeling that I am the protector, I am the provider, right? I am the origin, right? You came from it. The parent is feeling to their children like, I created you and I protect you and I provide for you. And on one level, that's the truth, but it's not the whole truth. And it's not nothing but there's truth, there's a type of truth in it, but that truth is a truth that comes and goes.
Yeah, it's a relative truth.
It's relative to time and circumstance. They're saying that now you're appearing, you're the full-on truth. And so let's go through this a bit. They said you never deviate from your vow. That's the first thing, right? You told us Mother Earth came to you. Mother Earth came to Brahma and said, I'm suffering, I need some relief. And then we came to Lord Vishnu and we expressed the need. And you made a promise that Vishnu heard in his heart that I will appear, right? And you didn't deviate from your vow. Here you are. And he says, and that vow is always perfect because whatever he decides is perfectly correct and cannot be stopped by anyone. Kamsa's trying to stop his appearance, but he can't do it. And then he says this, being present in the three phases of cosmic manifestation, creation, maintenance, and annihilation, you are the supreme truth, right? In other words, there are truths that come and go, but you don't come and go. You are behind everything. You remain when everything else goes through its cycles of creation, maintenance, and destruction. You remain untouched. So you are true in a way that other things aren't true. You are that Satyam, right? And so that's kind of, I think that's kind of, they're speaking to a principle that wise people tune into and understand, right? That we're living in a world that is true in one sense, but is untrue in another sense, right? Because there's truth in it. There is truth that like you're a parent, Raghunath, right? There's truth in that, but it's also truth that comes and goes. And there's truth in all the truths that we are perceiving are relative like that. But they're saying you're this stable truth that never changes. And if we can connect with you in our minds, connect with you in our hearts, we find the true stability that we're always looking for, and the true happiness. And we're truly provided for. We're truly protected. You're the true origin. You're that Param. The Bhagavatam started by saying Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. It's I offer respects unto Krishna, and then the first verse describes his opulences, his powers, his potencies, his attributes, and ends by saying Satyam Param Dhimahi. I meditate Dhimahi on that Param Satyam, on that supreme truth. So this is, again, it's tying into that. That was a foreshadowing of verses like this and of this moment where Krishna is about to appear. The demigods they're right on that point. They're helping us understand what reality is.
All right, text 27. The body, the total body, and the individual body are of the same composition. May figuratively be called the original tree.
Okay.
From this tree, which fully depends on the ground of material nature, come two kinds of fruit: the enjoyment of happiness and the suffering of distress.
Okay. So our body sometimes gives us happiness, sometimes distress.
The cause of the tree forming its three roots is association with the three gunas, right? The modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. The fruits of the bodily happiness have four tastes. In Sanskrit, they call them dharma, artha, kama, moksha, or religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, which are experienced through the five senses for acquiring knowledge in the midst of six circumstances. Here's the six circumstances: lamentation, illusion, old age, death, hunger, and thirst. The 7 layers of bark covering the tree are skin, blood, muscle, fat, bone, marrow, and semen. And the 8 branches of the tree are the 5 gross and 3 subtle elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, then intelligence, and false ego. The tree of the body has 9 hollows: the eyes, the ears, the nostrils, the mouth, the rectum, and the genitals, and 10 leaves, the 10 airs passing through the body. In this tree of the body, there are 2 birds. One is the individual soul, and the other is the super soul. So this is a little analogy using a tree, and then getting into all this like sort of Vedic scientific breakdown
Yeah.
of anatomy.
Yeah, it's a deconstruction, right? Sometimes to understand something, you have to deconstruct it. If we saw an automobile and we'd never seen one before, and we're like, how does this thing work? Well, you start to take it apart, and you see all the different parts of it. And so most of us don't think like this, but the sages thought like this, right? They was, let's deconstruct the whole thing.
Mm.
And then when you deconstruct it, you don't find anything that's alive. There's no consciousness doesn't manifest from all these parts. But it's saying we're in an automobile like this, and this is all the parts, and this is how it experiences life in this
Yeah.
world.
And it winds it up by saying, and how do you experience it? Well, there's 2 birds in that tree, and one is the super soul, and one is the Atma itself.
That's the life within the body. There's two living conscious beings within that body. That's us. And then that's this person that's appearing in Devaki right now, right? That's the soul of the entire universe, but also enters into every body, pervades, brings its consciousness into every body. And that's you that's appearing right now. You're the one that we go to the ocean of milk to connect with. You're the one who's the tiny universe that we see as unlimited, and that we have our roles in. The devas are feeling like this, you're the one that those universes just in one breath that they enter into. And you're here right now in the womb of Devaki.
It's like a prayer, but it's also like a philosophy class.
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
And
because it's based in reality, It's
Yeah.
not just sentiment, yeah.
So this is continuing on with this prayer / tree analogy, using the tree analogy. The efficient cause of this material world, manifested with its many varieties as the original tree, is you, O Lord. You are also the maintainer of this material world, and after annihilation, you are the one in whom everything is conserved. Those who are covered by your external energy cannot see you behind this manifestation, but theirs is not the vision of the learned devotees.
Okay. So there's when philosophers get kind of like when they get into these kind of questions about reality and creation and so on, they often use these terms. There's the efficient cause. I think it's the material cause and the efficient cause, right?
Mm.
Like they say, if you take a clay pot, what's the cause of the clay pot? Well, you can look at it 2 ways. You can say it's the clay, because the pot would have never existed without the clay. The clay is the cause. That's the material cause. Or there's the efficient cause. That's the potter, the person that turned that clay into a pot. And so both of them caused the appearance of the clay pot. And so here it says the efficient cause of the material world. That's you. Krishna is going to be both, right? It's the material elements are his energy, and he's also the efficient cause. He's the one that makes it happen, right? Effortlessly, he brings it about. So he's the efficient cause of the bodies that we're moving around in. He's the maintainer of the entire world. And after annihilation, it all enters back into his body, and then it comes back out again, right? In these cycles of creation and destruction. None of them, as powerful as they are, as honored as they all are, with their positions, they realize actually our positions are very small in comparison to this.
Okay, text 29. Oh Lord, you are always full of knowledge, and to bring all good fortune to all living entities, you appear in different incarnations, all of them transcendental to the material creation. When you appear in these incarnations, you are pleasing to the pious and religious devotees. But for non-devotees, you are the annihilator. And this is exactly where we're going with Kamsa also.
Yeah.
All the devotees are super excited. Krishna's coming to town.
Yeah. But still, to them, it's Vishnu coming to town for all they know, right?
Sure.
It,
It is almost like Christmas presents, like what's in the box, like what's
Yeah.
in the womb,
How's
what's
he gonna
coming out.
appear?
Oh, think of all the times Krishna appeared previous, like a boar. Oh my God. A man lion. Oh my God.
A
Lord
dwarf.
Ram. Oh my God.
Yeah.
What if they
He's a
said,
dwarf.
oh my God, he's a dwarf? Yeah. It's like you can't even dream this stuff up,
Yeah.
you know?
And
You could
that's, it's going to be for them. You see, later on, we're going to see that Brahma is going to become confused. Here he is just praying away. But later on, when that little boy can't be Vishnu.
Right. It's a very unassuming, I mean, a gigantic fish, a man lion, Lord
Yeah.
Ram, king of the world. Like, it's sort of like, okay, that could be God. You could be God. This thing is magnificent.
Or even a
This could be
dwarf.
God.
Just
A
he's a
little adorable
well-behaved,
baby,
composed dwarf,
a little baby sucking his toe. That's the supreme origin of the
Or
universe.
cowherd boy, and he's sitting with his friends, and they're eating together, and practically like he's got
Right.
food in his left hand, and he's not even,
Right. It's not like, okay, he's a little child genius. That could be God. No, it's a little messy, naughty,
Yeah.
right? Naughty
Yeah.
child,
Right.
spilling food, stealing food, causing mischief. That is the origin of all the
That's not Vishnu.
demigods.
Yeah. Yes. So they don't know that he's going to be Krishna right now. They just know Vishnu's coming in some form.
Oh, lotus-eyed Lord, by concentrating one's meditation on you, right? It's like getting a Christmas present right here. It's like, what is in the box?
Yeah. And when
Oh,
he
lotus.
appears first, he appears as Vishnu, right? When he comes out first,
Yeah.
he does appear four-armed form.
Yeah. Oh, lotus-eyed Lord, by concentrating one's meditation on
Oh,
your
did
lotus.
you skip one?
I don't
No,
think
no,
so.
you didn't. I'm sorry. You're right.
O lotus-eyed Lord, by concentrating one's meditation on your lotus feet, which are the reservoir of all existence, and by accepting those lotus feet as the boat by which to cross the ocean of nescience, one follows in the footsteps of the Mahajanas.
Mm.
Mahajans are the great saints, sages, and devotees. By this simple process, one can cross the ocean of nescience and easily as one steps over the hoofprint of a calf.
There you go. That's a famous verse, right?
Yeah.
These are just really, really incredible prayers. This idea, this seems to echo the verse by Yudhishthir in Mahabharata. How do you get to understand the truth? Different people can debate, right? And you get a good debater to debate a particular point, and one debater will win. And it seems like he's established the truth, right? He found the flaws in the
Right.
other person's presentation. He presented an opposing view that nobody could oppose. We've reached the truth. But then you get someone who has a greater, more powerful intellect, or who's just more trained, or just was on that day,
Right.
and then they can argue against what's been established and reestablish a different idea as the truth. Yudhishthir asks, how do we get to understand what really is the truth? And he says, you know what? It's a fact. different philosophers will go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth like this. But what we can do is we can look at the great souls, look at the people that embody the great qualities. Look at the people that embody truth, that embody kindness, that embody compassion, that embody peace, that are situated peacefully under all circumstances, and follow in their footsteps. Right? Look to people, and look to people that embody good qualities, and they can become a shelter. I heard another one of these debates yesterday.
Yeah.
And one of these YouTube, Christian versus atheist debates.
Oh yeah, you like those?
But they're fascinating, they really are.
Yeah.
And this
Who was it?
was
Who was it?
the atheist was named Peter Atkin.
Okay.
Oh
yeah.
my God. And the Christian was
Was the atheist good?
good in what sense?
Was he a good debater? Was he have some good points?
I would say no. I would
Okay.
say no. I mean, he's a famous scientist, and I'm forgetting the name of it's slipping my mind right now. The name of the he's a very famous John Lennox. I think a very famous scientist, Christian scientist, right?
Mm.
The Peter Atkin, he was incredibly pompous. I mean, just normal people just can't act this rude and absurdly pompous, right? But he was just laying it on thick. Just that the opposite of what I was saying in that previous debate, right? Where you had two people, one was an atheist, one was a Christian, but they were being respectful to each other. And they were honoring the intelligence of each other and the sincerity of each other. This person was not like that at all.
Okay.
He was very
With all your
insulting.
learning, you think you'd be humble, but
That's the point, right? Just if we're trying to understand who they were going back and forth with their arguments, I don't think his arguments were very well composed, although people buy into them. But just look at his character. He's frustrated and angry and rude and insulting and pompous. That's not a happy person. Whereas John Lennox was tolerating it all and kind, kind and happy and peaceful throughout the whole thing, even though he was being insulted,
So
again and again.
you get some points for that. Just being tolerant, loving anyway. To me, those are the people I want to hang out with.
It's an
Even if
indication of
this
some
whole
level of
God
truth, right?
Even if this whole God debate, even if the God people are wrong, even if we're all wrong,
I'd rather be like him.
We made up fairy tales. I'd rather be like the nice, sweet guy.
Yeah.
And not just who likes to hang out with the pompous. Would you want to date a pompous guy? Are you presently dating a pompous man? No. Okay. Thank you.
But at one point in that debate, towards the end, the mediator or host asked a question: is there anything? What would it take? No, actually, it was before this. He did ask at the end, what would it take? Is there any evidence that could be shown to you that would change your mind? And the pompous guy, Atkins, said, there's nothing. But earlier in the debate, you see John Lennox, he largely bases his faith on the resurrection of Jesus, right? He sees that as, not only that, but his faith in Jesus on that. Right, his faith in God, he can base it on science in different ways, and his faith in Jesus has a lot to do with the historical records around that. And they have their arguments for that. How many eyewitnesses there were, how who died, maintaining that witnesses that they were willing to be crucified themselves to not deny that it was true, and so on. But Peter Atkin was asked about the resurrection. What if you witnessed the resurrection itself? Like, what would that do for you? And he said, if I saw the resurrection, I would assume that it was not true and that I was hallucinating. And what that means is
There's no way to prove it to this person.
Well, but also you've lost your credibility as a scientist, because what you said is, if evidence opposes my conviction, then I will reject the evidence.
Hmm.
And that's the problem, right? It's like that's what Sadaputo is writing about in his book, about forbidden archaeology.
Sure.
When people that were convinced that, evolution and changing of species has happened through natural selection,
Hmm.
they're examining, they'll say it's based on the fossil record. But if you see how they approach the fossil record, if any fossils didn't fit in with their theory, they would reject it
Right.
as invalid. Why? Because it doesn't fit the theory. But the
Right.
whole
Instead of
point,
making
the whole point is you look at it with an unbiased mind and see what it says.
Hmm.
So in any case, this gets back to that truth question.
Right. It
first
makes
thing-
me wonder, if you were in the birthing room with my mother when she saw Jesus, would you believe even Jesus
Well, you
was
see,
there?
but
Like
my point
you
was
would be
she
like,
was-
"You're not even Jesus." He's like, "I am Jesus." Like, no, you're not.
No,
Jesus
I would have
came up to you.
accepted that, but the point was, she said, "I don't remember anything like that."
Yeah. No.
So, so there's no witness to this,
It was
Raghunath.
witness to her previous statements that Jesus was there. I think you'd be like, "You're not Jesus. You probably work in the
Who
cafeteria."
witnessed those statements besides you?
I'm sure she said it to everyone.
How are you sure?
I can't remember. I was young. I can't remember.
It's getting really.
Sometimes we forget.
It's getting really foggy.
You'd be like, "Do you work as a janitor here because you're dressed really poorly
Jesus?
here as a laborer?" Well, I am a laborer. I'm a laborer of love.
Let's move on to takeaways.
Okay.
These
All
are
right.
important things, Mara. Don't
These are
just-
very, very important because miracles are appearing at every moment, but you have to be open to them, Kaustubha.
And we also shouldn't accept anything as a mirror, or otherwise it downgrades. People have no faith in the true miracles.
And the true miracle is Jesus appearing in a hospital room is a miracle, man.
If it happens, it is.
Yeah, if it happens, it's a miracle. And I'm saying if it happened right in front of your eyes,
If it did.
yeah, then you'd have to accept it and not
I
just
would.
like write him off as some other whatever
Right.
nurse. Are you a male
We're-
nurse here?
We're in agreement on that, Raghunath.
Okay.
right. Moving on to our takeaways.
Yes.
Krishna lights us up.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, yes, he does.
Animosity brings anxiety.
Animosity brings anxiety.
Like Kamsa's animosity towards Krishna.
Right.
Yeah.
He's constantly in anxiety.
Yeah.
That guy, Peter Akin, he reminded me of Kongsa. Like, he's just upset about God, angry about God, rejecting, it was like that.
Very,
It's
yeah.
demoniac mentality.
Krishna cannot be stopped and is always perfect.
Okay.
Imagine that is the hill you want to die on. Like, there is no God. There's no God. Like, that's your whole gig. Whenever you think of this person, that's what they're talking about. That's what they're thinking about. They're always trying to look for information to reinforce. What if they're wrong? Their whole life was spent being angry and hating something.
It's
Some
sad. Raghunath.
idea.
It's sad.
Connect to God for true stability, security, and happiness.
Okay. That's
I think.
the
I
real,
think.
the real basis.
Follow the footsteps of great devotees with kindness, tolerance, and good character.
There you go.
Oh.
There you go.
Devotees are excited. Vishnu's coming to town.
Everybody's getting excited.
Lord Vishnu is coming to town.
Hit that high note, Mara.
There's a variety of hells.
Just good to know.
Good to
They
You
say
got to
variety
sin.
is
We
the
got to. You got to sin.
mother
we gotta
enjoyment.
help for you.
And
Yeah.
killing your pregnant sister will ruin your reputation.
There you go. And that's a truth. That's the truth. Thank you, everybody, for
That is
joining
truthful.
us. And we're excited to see you Saturday. We are about to go
Bring
for a
cookies. Are people bringing cookies?
bring cookies.
What's
We're going to give out cookies.
If people bring them, we'll give them.
If you bring them, we'll give them out. If you don't bring them, we have no cookies to give out.
No eggs.
We're gonna have new
no
T-shirts.
eggs. We're going to have T-shirts.
We're gonna have
Debuting.
new T-shirt.
New
Debuting new
T-shirts,
T-shirts.
old T-shirts, beanies. I know it's going to be hot out, perhaps, but get a beanie anyway.
I think it'll be too hot.
Not going to be too hot. Okay.
You got the baseball hats though, too, right?
We got
Yeah.
baseball hats. We got trucker hats. We got dad hats.
We got it all.
We got it all. Monkey will be there dancing and singing.
Yeah, see, I've seen Miguel say FOMO, but you know what? What does it cost to get a ticket up to from Florida to New York? It's nothing.
You know what? No, from Orlando, you could fly super cheap.
You can fly in the morning and
Airways.
fly out at night.
Yeah, do it. He's got a baby. He's got to get the blessings. Be home to put that baby to sleep. Anyway, we're looking forward to seeing everybody, connecting with people in person. Greg DeGasu, chest bump when I see you, brother. And thanks everybody.